I'll never forget the sound of the wind that night. It wasn't just a whisper, it was a high-pitched howl, tearing through the canyons just outside of Flagstaff. Locals call that area the Devil's Backbone, and trust me, it earns the name. It's rugged, unforgiving territory, the kind of place people go when they want to disappear or make someone else disappear. I was out there on a wild goose chase, looking for an old Jeep part, a total needle in a haystack. It was well past midnight. I was running on fumes and stale coffee, the cold air biting right through my jacket. I was just about to pack it in, call it a total bust, when I spotted the tracks. These weren't from a hiker or a deer. They were a dog's paw prints. Big, deep, and they weren't leading anywhere. They were just circling a single burnt-out campsite. The whole scene felt wrong, like something you'd see in a true crime documentary. The air was thick with a sense of dread. I cut my engine, and the silence that followed was heavy, almost suffocating. That's when I heard it. A low, ragged whimper, almost swallowed by the wind, but it was there. It was the sound of something in pain, something truly broken. I grabbed my heavy-duty flashlight. This thing casts a beam a mile wide and started scanning the area. And there, huddled under a sickly-looking juniper tree, was this creature. This wasn't some pampered house pet. He was a wreck, a massive Rottweiler mix, probably 80 pounds of muscle and bone, but he was down to just skin and bones now, covered in dust and burrs. But his eyes, man, his eyes just broke me. They weren't aggressive. They were pure, distilled terror. It was like he had seen the absolute worst of humanity and was just waiting for the end. He was shaking like a leaf in a hurricane, but he wouldn't move, completely frozen by fear. I took a few slow steps, trying to make myself as small and non-threatening as possible. I started talking to him in a low, steady voice. "Hey, buddy, easy, big guy. I'm not gonna hurt you. We're gonna be okay." He just tensed up, dropping his head even lower to the ground, almost like he was waiting for a final blow. That's when I saw it. The collar. It was high-end leather, the kind of thing someone would spend real money on. But the tag was gone, sliced clean off. That wasn't an accident. That was a choice. Someone drove this noble animal out to the devil as backbone and just left him there to die. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a stray dog. This was an abandonment, a deliberate act of cruelty. I couldn't just leave him. So I sat down, cross-legged, about 20 feet away from him, and I just waited. I didn't push. I just let the silence and the cold do their thing, letting him get used to my presence. For what felt like an hour, we were just two shadows in the dark, with the wind as our only witness. Then, I remembered the one piece of beef jerky I had in my pocket. The good stuff, artisan jerky I was saving for myself. I tore off a small piece and tossed it about halfway to him. It landed in the dirt. He didn't move. I tossed another piece. Finally, ever so slowly, his head lifted. He sniffed the air, and I swear you could hear his stomach rumbling over the wind. It was a battle raging inside him, the paralyzing fear versus the desperate need to survive. And survival won. He crept forward, belly to the ground, snatched the jerky, and was back under his tree in a flash, swallowing it whole. I spent another hour out there in the freezing dark, slowly inching forward, talking to him, tossing him the rest of my food. I didn't try to touch him or put a rope on him. I was just building a bridge, one small act of kindness at a time. It felt like an eternity. When the first sliver of dawn finally broke over the canyon rim, painting the desert a stark, cold blue, I decided to make my move. I stood up very slowly and just started walking back to my truck. I didn't look back. I just kept talking, my voice getting softer. "Come on, pal, let's blow this joint. We're going home." I got to the truck, opened the passenger door, and I waited. My heart was pounding like a drum solo. For a full minute, there was nothing. Then, out of the shadows, he emerged. He was tentative, his body language still screaming danger, but he was moving. He walked right up to the door, looked me straight in the eye, and then, with a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of everything he'd been through, he jumped right into the passenger seat. He laid his massive head on the center console, and for the first time, he let out a different sound. Not a whimper, but a low, exhausted groan of relief. As I pulled out of that canyon, leaving the devil's backbone behind, I reached over and gave him a gentle scratch behind the ear. He leaned into my hand. That connection, that trust earned in the desolate dark, was electric. I named him Asher. It's a name that means blessed or happy, because that's exactly what he deserved to be. The next few weeks were tough. He was a ghost in the house, jumping at every little sound, scared of any sudden movements. It was a slow process. But slowly, inch by agonizing inch, the fear started to melt away. The good food, the long walks, the quiet patience, it all started to work. Now, 6 months later, Asher is a completely different dog. He's my shadow, my co-pilot, my best friend. He's got this goofy bark. He plays fetch like his life depends on it, and he'll plant a big, sloppy kiss on you if you're not quick enough to dodge it. The ghost I found in that canyon is gone, replaced by this joyful, loving companion. What I learned out there that night is that the bond between a person and an animal isn't some soft, mushy thing. It's like steel cable. It's tough, it's forged in fire, and it's unbreakable. Someone tried to snuff out Asher's light, but they couldn't do it. He survived the abandonment, the fear, and the cold, because deep down, I think he knew someone better was coming for him. And I'm telling you, finding him out there in the middle of nowhere was one of the luckiest, most life-changing things that has ever happened to me. He saved me just as much as I saved him. Thank you so much for watching our story. If Asher's journey touched your heart, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel for more updates. Every follow helps us share these stories of hope and recovery. We'll see you in the next one.